So, is van life really what we thought it was?
We have called Big Red our home for almost 6 months. We've traveled to 2 continents and through 8 countries, experienced extreme cold temperatures in Scotland to unbearable heat in the Sahara Desert. We've wild camped, stayed in campsites, had our highs and lows, and we've also made a couple of changes on Big Red just to make it a little bit more homely.
So, is van life really what we thought it was?
So in order to answer this question, I think we have to ask ourselves, what did we think van life was going to be like?
Well, we thought it was gonna be this beautiful lifestyle, you know, living in a van, standing on top of a roof spot.
Staying in amazing destinations.
Yeah, living outside the van, swimming in the beach the whole time. But little did we know it was actually going to be somewhat like that, but it was also going to involve a lot of other stuff, such as chores, navigating our relationship, staying in random spots.
Safety, finding a place to park, space,
yeah, and let's not talk about that toilet situation. Oh, that's nasty!
So to start it off, let's talk about what we like and what we dislike about van life. So for me, what I personally love, I love having my own bed. Last year we were in some dodgy hotel rooms where we were using our towels just to like lay on the sheets. So to climb into my own bed every single night is a huge
massive plus.
And I love the freedom that we get. We get to go wherever we want without having to worry about if there's a bus or a schedule or even a tour guide that confines you to the amount of time you can be at a place. Like if we want to stay at a place, we can stay there for as long as we like. If we feel like not moving, we can stay there another night. Or if something's just not interesting, we can pack up and leave earlier than we planned.
Yeah, and what we kind of dislike about van life is the amount of time we spend driving. Like we never really thought of that because we were always on trains and buses and planes and stuff like that, and you could actually work during that time. But now we're always driving from one place to another place, and because we got to work while we do this lifestyle, it's kind of taken away from that, which makes now the little bit of time that you do have to work a lot more stressful because you got to cram everything in. And the amount of chores, I mean, water, finding sun, cleaning this place is ridiculous. The amount of times we clean this floor is crazy.
I feel like sometimes all I'm doing is cooking, washing dishes and sweeping the floor.
Yeah.
And that's like all the time gone.
Yeah, the van is like a full-time job on its own. But before we give you our full opinion on what van life is really like for us, we thought we'd go onto Instagram and our community page and ask you guys to ask us questions about van life to make sure that we cover all aspects of this lifestyle. Right now we're going to make our way towards Port Corvu, which is a place that you guys recommended, and then along the way we're going to answer your questions about van life.
We have narrowed down all the questions to 16 questions, which will cover everything that you guys have asked us. Alright, so question number 1 was from Ganesh, and he asked, why did you choose van life? Why did we choose van life?
Why did we choose van life? We wanted to travel Europe, but because it's so expensive, we thought that doing it in a van would be way cheaper. And
it's a cool way to explore a place. I mean, like, it's a little bit of home. I think we really started to feel like we needed a little place of our own. So we've gotten that, plus we get to explore, so it's like a best of both worlds, I would say.
Yeah, so you can say that van life chose us. We didn't choose van life.
So our second question is from Monique, and she asked, what is the best part and what is your biggest challenge? So the best part, I would say, again, is the freedom that you have just to be able to move around. But the biggest challenge is, I think, what we're doing right now, because we face this kind of every third day.
Water. It's always a problem finding water spots, especially here in Portugal. It seems to be the most difficult. Everywhere else there was at least a point, but yeah, a little bit different. So we've been finding in campsites. But we need to stop every 3 days for water, which is the less fun part, and I think the most struggling or stressful part. Okay, done.
Question number 3. Neha has asked, how do you decide on travel distances?
We don't. When we feel like we're in the mood to travel, then that's when we travel.
Yeah.
Sometimes we make super long distances depending on time, because maybe a visa is running out like we did in Morocco. And if we do have time, then we make more stops. So we kind of just choose what do we really want to see, and then we go to those places. And if it's a 6-hour drive, it's 6 hours. If it's a 2-hour drive, it's 2 hours. And then, yeah, sometimes if we're tired halfway through driving, we just stop, sleep somewhere, and then continue the next day.
Or even if we're hungry, we just stop on the side of the road. What a spot.
This is nice, hey?
Yeah. So to answer question number 4, which was from Danae, she asked, is it easy to find places to sleep and park for the night, or is it a challenge? So to answer that, I think it's pretty easy, especially in countries that allow you to wild camp, because we've just rocked up at a parking and found the most amazing view.
So as you can see, we found a spot here on Park for Night to park at. There's other caravans over there. This is us, and there's more. But the view is definitely a win, and this is what we find on these apps.
This one I think costs us €3, but that's not always the case. Sometimes there are free parkings too.
Got our ticket. Okay, so for question number 5.
So this one is from Abdul, and he says, do you ever encounter any dangerous situations at night?
No, we haven't.
No, we haven't. I mean, like, at first when we started wild camping, it was pretty scary. I'd kind of sit in bed and listen to every single noise that's out there. But touch wood, we haven't had any bad experience.
Yeah, we mainly just read the reviews of the places or the parking lots or the random places that we're going to be sleeping at. And if there's one that says, oh, we were broken into, or I found glass on the floor, we just say, nope, we move on to the next one. And until we find one that has got the perfect place, the perfect views and the perfect reviews, then that's where we stay. And yeah, we've had no problems, luckily.
But for our own sanity as well, we make sure that all the doors are locked, all our extra latches are put on, and hopefully we remain safe throughout our
journey. And the car's alarm is on as well, and then we're fine.
And we've been sleeping like babies. It's been amazing. Time for question number 6, the juicy stuff, our relationship.
The juicy stuff.
So there were a few questions based on our relationship, so I'm kind of going to answer them as like a conglomerate.
Okay.
So the first question is, do you find living in small quarters stressful on your beautiful relationship?
What do you mean small quarters? Our van is huge.
To be honest, I actually never thought of the space becoming an issue in our relationship. Even though it's not a huge issue, being on top of each other requires a lot of patience, and we can get quite frustrated with one another.
Yeah, Leanne's busy cooking food right now, so that is kind of her zone, which means I'm left with this. And because we put the table over there, the only place I'm really allowed is over here. And now that we're in a parking lot, I'm forced to be here, but ever since we got the camping chairs, I can actually sit outside while Leanne prepares food. But it has been something that we need to focus on and be like, hey babe, can you please move there? I need to get to that position. Where in the beginning it was like, hey man, can you just move? I want him to get over there. But because it is so small, you kind of have to tell the person that's where you want to be so that they can move out of your way.
It's taken some learning, but we've gotten much better.
Yeah.
And I think living in a confined space, we found like more quirky things about each other that we didn't really take note of before.
Yeah, like Leanne, wait till she's done cooking. All these cupboards are going to be open.
I tend to leave the cupboards open, like Danny says, and I leave my pajamas underneath my pillow. Like, even if you look right now, here's my pajamas.
Weird place to put it.
Do you guys leave your pajamas underneath your pillow? I grew up doing that, and Daniel thinks it's the most bizarre thing to do.
Inside the cupboard. Put it inside the cupboard.
Then the second part of this question, Jan on a Journey asked, do you spend 24/7 together, or do you have time apart? So we spend literally 24/7 together.
From sleeping, waking up, eating breakfast, filming, editing, 100% 24/7.
Going to the toilet.
Yeah, because The toilet is right there, so there is not much privacy at all.
I tell Daniel, can you please look the other way, and then he stands here.
Yeah, we kind of have to look the other way so a person gets their own privacy.
But we try and do our own thing sometimes. So like if we're working in editing, we're not always talking to each other, so I would classify that as like personal
Your own time,
space.
yeah.
Sometimes Danny wants to watch something on YouTube that I don't necessarily want to watch, or I want to read my book and he doesn't like reading.
Yeah.
So then we spend time apart in that sense.
But
even
we
though
with each other, yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes any sense.
And then
there's a third part to this one.
There's a third part of this one. Meg's asked us, with all the travel that you guys do, how do you keep it romantic between the two of you?
While Leanne's sitting on the toilet, I look at her and light a candle and I go, babe, this is amazing.
It is hard to keep things like romantic when you're constantly with each other 24/7, but
And I also think working with each other the whole entire time as well. It's like, if you're not filming, you're editing. If you're not editing, you're moving to a different place. So we do find ourselves sometimes not having time for each other.
Yeah.
But it is something that we're trying to focus more and more on, is that we have more time with each other away from the camera and away from work.
yeah, like little dates or a little dinner together that's not filmed, or
Yeah, we do go on dates and like dinners, like small things. Like right now we actually just went and walked across like the whole
boardwalk
the boardwalk here in Lagos. Oh, by the way, we're in Lagos. So we went and walked together on the boardwalk and stuff like that, and we didn't film it. So we do small things like that where we spend time with each other.
And trying not to talk about work all the time, because you can get carried away with that, but just
Especially
talk
me.
about like personal things and keep work during work hours, if
Yeah.
you could say. Try and be patient with one another.
Yeah. But otherwise there's no secret. We are just normal people filming our lives and filming our travel experiences.
But we have fun together, which
Yeah,
is
we do.
a
We
good
do.
thing.
We do.
Yeah.
Whew.
Sorry.
My arm is getting tired from holding the camera.
And another way that we keep it romantic, or should I say keep it romantic, is I always cook Daniel delicious food. You know, a way to a guy's heart is through his stomach.
And Leanne makes delicious food. I mean, you guys remember the 800 grams worth of mince, right? 800 grams of mince. Hey guys, dinner at our place tonight. Leanne's cooking 800 grams worth of mince.
You're never gonna leave that one alone, are you?
No, never. So after devouring a delicious steak that Leanne made, it's time now for question number 7.
So this one is from Logical Dude. He's asked, what motivates you to live this life, and how long are you planning to continue this? I would say some of the stuff that we've said before, the freedom, we're able to have our own home, our own things, our own bed. We can have a little bit of a routine in the van.
Yeah. And also, like we've said before, is that Vanlife chose us. We didn't choose Vanlife. Was to like mainly bring down costs while exploring Europe. And I think that's the big motivation behind it. And like Leanne said, is to have a little bit of a home. It's our own home on wheels, you know. This is our home, which is quite cool. And then how long are we going to continue doing this for?
Well, when we set out to do the Buddymoon and our full-time YouTube channel, we gave ourselves 1,000 days of the Buddymoon. So basically, that goal, or that duration that we gave ourselves, ends at the end of this year in December.
Yeah.
So that's what we gave ourselves.
Yeah, so we basically had a budget to travel for 2 years, and that is like 760 days. And we gave the 1,000 because we thought we would make money in those days to survive till the 1,000. And that does end this year, but we still think we're going to do van life next year as well, because we have the goal now of trying to travel to every single country in Europe. But what happens after that, we're not really sure. We're just going to enjoy van life now for what it is, and just enjoy traveling Europe in a van.
You never know, we could continue van life, we could go back to backpacking, we could, I don't know, settle down somewhere.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? But for now, we're just enjoying van life. Okay, we're going to bed, so we'll answer question number 8 tomorrow. That's not a bad view to wake up to.
Good morning, guys. So today we're going to be leaving Lagos, I think that's how you say it, and we're going to head more north towards Port Corvu. But before we go, we're going to answer a few more questions.
So for question number 8.
So question number 8 is from Beyonce, and she's asked, are you finding it cost effective being in the van versus other means of travel?
Definitely yes. We sleep for free most of the nights because we're staying in wild spots or in parking lots that do not cost us any money. Where here in Europe, it's roughly about €100 a night for our hotel. So just by living in the van, we are already saving €100 a day, which is a lot of money.
And I mean, if you look at the food, we aren't eating out every night. Actually, most nights we eat inside the van. But a plate of food in a restaurant is on average maybe about 17, 18 euros, and we spending that amount by going to Carrefour, Aldi's, and just buying groceries for 3 days for the both of us.
Yeah, which is crazy. And just to give it into perspective, living in a van in Europe is costing us the same as what it cost us in Asia living in hotels and food. We're kind of on the same budget we used to be in Asia but in Europe, and that is only because of the van. Okay, next question. Question number 9.
This one is from Ganesh. He's asked, how do you manage your expenses while traveling?
Whew.
Danny's got an app basically.
Yeah, that's my forte. Yeah, I've got an app called Money Manager, and it allows me to set budgets on it, and like according to a category. So I can set a budget for accommodation, budget for food, a budget for what we spend on videos, and then every single cost that we have, I kind of just put it into this thing, and it tells me whether I'm going to go over budget or under budget inside the month. And it also helps us just regulate how much we're actually spending so we do not go wild. And this app has actually been working like an absolute charm for us, because you can take photos of your slip once you've recorded the cost, which means you don't lose that recording as well. I'll leave a link in the description below to that app, or what it's called, so that you can find it in the App Store if you want to use something like that as well.
Danny's the accountant of our relationship. Like I've said before, if you've been following us for a long time, he's the brain, I'm the heart. So anything money related, that's his question.
My forte. Okay, next question. Question number 10.
What is your monthly budget for petrol and campsites, and how much do you spend on them on average? So I don't think we'll go into too much detail on all of that. We are bringing out a newsletter, so if you want to sign up for our newsletter, click the link below.
Yeah, we'll leave it over there.
But we will be discussing all of that type of stuff in our newsletter. Not everyone's interested in the finances, so I think if you're interested in that there, go and sign up for that. But it won't only be about the finances, it will be other little behind the scene things too.
Yeah, and we're going to bring it out once a month, every single month. So it's going to have travel tips, a little bit of our finances inside there as well, maybe discount codes that we do not share here on the channel itself and will be inside there, discounts on flights and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of cool travel stuff, so definitely go sign up and get a lot of cool travel information from us over there.
Okay, I think that's everything on finance.
Okay, finances are done. So for the next question, we've come here to a beach in Lagos, because when in Portugal, you cannot not come to a beach.
The beaches here in the south of Portugal are absolutely stunning.
Beautiful. Now time for question number 11.
Yep, question number 11.
Yo, a lot of questions.
This thing's not recognizing my face. Okay. Question number 11 is from Joe Jacob. He has asked, do you think buying a van has brought in a lot of unnecessary expenditure?
Yes and no.
Yeah, that's a hard one to answer, right?
Yeah, buying a second-hand van with the amount of like mileage we have on ours, you can't not expect no costs or no maintenance. It's definitely going to need something to fix, but we just hope that something is never going to cost us like £5,000 or something like that. You know, we always hope it's something minor, and when something does happen, we're always scared of what that is going to cost.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are a little bit mindful, and it does stress us out, because when the van has got issues, it takes away from us having to work on the Buddymoon, edit videos and do stuff like that.
But I wouldn't say it's unnecessary, because it's our home and a place where we work, and it needs to be reliable to move us around. I think it's very necessary that we spend on it just to make sure that we're not stuck on the road.
Yeah, but for now the van is 100% working fine, and that MAF sensor sorted out that issue that we had and all other issues. So
Big Red is driving like
Big Red is a dream
now.
at the moment, yeah. Okay, now
Question
time
number
for
12.
question number 12.
This one is from Gavin. He asked, are the problems you're facing with Big Red what you expected?
Yes, we did expect problems. We didn't expect that it was going to cause so much issues and delays, and the time that we had them we would struggle to find parts. We did take it to mechanics like we said, and nobody detected stuff, so although we tried to self-diagnose it, we managed to fix it. But yeah, it is slightly what we expected. But is it a damper at the time that it's happening?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Like Danny said, we bought a second-hand van. You don't know what to expect really on those cars. We've never known the history of it before or anything like that. So
yeah,
you just got to work with what you get.
Yeah, just make sure that the money app that I was talking about earlier, that there's budget for van maintenance, because I think that is always going to happen. Okay.
Next question.
Next question. Let's go get laundry done and then we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay. Laundry is going.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Bless me.
Bless you.
Bless you. Ooh, bless me.
Bless you. Okay. So while we wait for our laundry, let's answer question number 13.
This one is from Himal Noran, and he has asked, do you have thoughts of taking breaks from the van and sleeping over at a hotel?
Yes, we do. Sometimes the space gets a little bit too small.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet. Well, I guess we have when we stayed at friends in the UK, but we're still very fresh then.
Yeah.
But now that we've stayed in it for a long period of time, I think when we have longer work weeks, that would be the perfect time to actually look for an Airbnb and just spread out for a bit.
Yeah, we might do that when we're in the Balkans area and skip it here through Europe, because Airbnbs in the Balkan areas are much cheaper. But yes, we do think of breaks from the van. We got ice cream. Okay, question number 14.
This one's from the Financial Traveler, and he's asked, is there anything you would have built differently having lived in the van for 6 months now? Yes.
Yes, I would try and make use of the cabin area, because I feel like that's a wasted space. And also change the dining area into a place where we can chill and lay down, because there's no place inside the van where we can just like lay down during the day without having to get onto the bed, which is a little bit not so fun.
For me, I think it would be the height of the counters. I am not that tall. I'm 1.75 meters tall, if that tells you my height, but the counters are quite short, so I feel like when I'm washing dishes or I'm chopping and all of that, my back really hurts. So if it could just be a little bit higher, that would have been great.
Otherwise, nothing else.
Yeah.
Other than maybe just putting water tanks underneath the car to catch the water, so when we're in parking lots we don't have to use a bucket. But there is still a plan to do that, so that's something we can easily change. With the other stuff, no, we're kind of stuck with the van the way it is. But yeah. And laundry is done. Oh, nice and dry. I'm doing the laundry because Leanne has gone shopping. But some things that you take for granted is like doing your laundry. It's not as simple as just walking to your washing machine in your house and doing laundry. You got to find places like this all the time. What a spot. This is Port Corfu, one of the places that you guys recommended. I mean, where we're sleeping tonight is absolutely insane.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we have 2 more questions left, so on to question number 15.
This one is from Michael, and he's asked, if there's one luxury you could have during van life, what would it be and why?
A partner.
Excuse me?
I think it would be very lonely doing this alone.
But what, a luxury you don't have?
Oh.
You've got me already.
Oh, okay. A luxury.
For me it would be an awning, because I feel like that would create a lot of shade, and then you could also live outside of the van while still being in the shade and not having like trees or something like where we are now. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that makes just the space bigger rather than just living inside the van. Okay, question number 16, our last question before we actually give our full opinion on if van life is really what we expected.
So the last question is from Destinations Apart, and that is, what is missing most inside our van?
Missing most inside our van? A chill area.
Yeah, I think a lot of vans are designed differently for different needs, and while this one does cater for a lot of our needs, we don't have a place to relax. If we want to just put our feet up and sit back and relax, we have to go on the bed.
So, to what this video is all about,
to conclude everything,
yeah, is van life really what we expected?
No, it's
yes and no.
Yes and no, in a way. For me, in parts, it's better than what I expected. Like these places, like I'm in a place that I could never imagine right now.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful, but then no at the same time, because there's so many chores and struggles that come along with
so many
van life.
chores, so much working, where you're actually spending more than 50% of the time doing the chores, finding water, busy working in the van, then enjoying places like this full time. So although I thought it was always gonna be at places like this 100% of the time, it's not, and I'm starting to come towards a reality of what van life truly is, and I'm starting to enjoy the chores and start making the chores part of it rather than hating it. Actually just making it part of it. Go to the place, get water, work at a place, stay 2 days longer at a place like this, and just enjoy it and enjoy those little parts of fixing the van, cleaning the van, working in the van, staying in places like this in the van, filming the van. Yeah.
It's all part of the journey, and I really do think that those chores and stuff are minor compared to the feeling that you get in places like this.
Yeah, for sure. But otherwise, so excited to carry on like exploring Portugal and carrying on like further up the coast, because if this is just a taste of what we've got, and I think there's just so much more to explore about this place.
But if you want to see us reach our goal of exploring all the countries in Europe, be sure to click that like button and subscribe. But if you like this video, leave a comment below and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, and give a super thanks if you can. We would really appreciate it. Okay, let's enjoy this while we're gonna go swim now, guys.